'tis the season to begin all of those holiday projects.
Stay tuned because we have some bright and merry ideas for any room in your home. I'm Kim.
And I'm Chris, and you're watching The DIY Dish. You know, now is a great time to start working on those holiday projects, don't you think?
Absolutely. The kids are finally back in school. The weather is getting cooler, so I like to stay inside more. And just looking at all the fun fabrics coming into your local shops makes me want to just sew.
Absolutely. Well, not too long ago, we held a Christmas in July celebration here at my girlfriend's quilt shop, and there was one particular item on display that had people talking and saying, we want to make that.
Well, I think I know or have a little of an idea of why that was, because between the fun fabrics there are and the simple technique, it was something that everyone can do. So we decided to share it with you too.
So here's the basis of what you're going to need for an ornament pillow, table runner, or even a quilt. First of all, you'll need a 10-inch dinner plate. Yep, that's right, Kim.
I know.
Dinner plate.
I know.
Some red, green, and white back quarters, fusible webbing such as Heat and Bond Light or Wonder Under, some brown fabric scraps, and a little bit of tiny black rickrack trim.
Okay.
Now, if that material list seems a little strange since there are 3 different size projects, keep watching because Kim's going to show you the basic panel, and then by using the same simple technique, you'll be able to make any or all of these items. The pillows, the table runners, or yes, even a quilt.
And it really is that easy, Chris. Just by knowing the very basic panel of this item, then you can make all sorts of things. So I'm going to show you how easy it really is.
Great.
Okay, so as Chris mentioned, you need a dinner plate. It can be any size. I have one here that's about 10 inches in diameter. This one's about 12 inches. And I'm going to choose the 10-inch one just because. And then I'm going to take it over to my fusible web. Now with fusible web, there's a paper side to it, and then there's the glue side of it. We want to place the glue side down so that we can trace right onto the paper side.
Okay.
And with that dinner plate, we are actually going to use it as the template for our ornament. So I just flip it upside down and make a circle.
It's the easiest circle you'll ever make.
It sure is. Okay. All right, now if you'll take the scissors over there and just do a rough cut around that. You don't want to cut directly onto the line quite yet. And while she's doing that, the top of the ornament is a 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangle. So I decided to go ahead and just take a little piece of cardstock as my template and cut it to 1.5 by 2.5. And then I would do the same thing with the fusible web that you just threw on the ground. And trace that onto the paper side too, Chris. That's all right. You get the idea. Okay, so we'll go ahead and now take this to any type of fabric. And I chose red. I just have to give you a bad time.
I know.
All right, and then with the wrong side facing up, I'm going to put it over here on my ironing board. If you'll just take this plate here.
Should I drop that to the side too?
Yeah, don't do that. Okay. Again, the wrong side is up, and I'm going to take my circle ornament and lay it there. And just by following the manufacturer instructions on that fusible web, you're going to adhere it to your fabric. Now this one's just going to take a few seconds. Okay. All right. Now's the time when you want to cut directly onto the line. Okay. And this goes for any applique piece that you're going to do with fusible web. This is how you would do it. Okay. So as you can imagine here, you're going to have as many or as little ornaments as you would like. Okay. And for right now, I'm just going to make this pillow here. But if you wanted to make a table runner, making about 4 or 5 of these would be perfect.
And just sewing them in blocks together.
Exactly. Okay, so now you've got that cut out. And I want to take my background fabric. Let's scoot that over a little bit. Right here. And I decided that I wanted my background fabric approximately 2 inches larger on each side of my ornament. So since my ornament was 10 inches in diameter, I decided to do a 12 by 12 piece of fabric here. Don't you love that white on white there?
Okay.
Okay, and now I'm going to simply peel that paper off.
You see there's a little bit of a shine there now.
Yeah, so you know you got that on just right. And center it there in my block. Okay. And now again, according to the instructions on your fusible web, you're going to adhere it to your background block. Okay. Just takes a few seconds.
Pretty easy.
In each area.
I love it.
Okay. Now, if I was going to put my ornament top on, now would be the time to just do the same method of peeling off that paper, adhering it to the top of your ornament, and then you are ready to take it to your sewing machine and do some type of stitch around it to finish the edges.
You could do a zigzag stitch,
Sure,
or a blanket stitch,
sure,
or you could even do a straight stitch just a little bit inside the line there to make it fray.
Yeah, it's a really cute look and something that's simple enough for even beginners who might not have some of the fancier stitches on your machine. Just do a straight stitch. It's going to look just as cute.
Yep.
All right. So once your main panel is done, now's the time to put that cute decorative trim and border around the outside edge. And so what I love to do is, well, I can't throw away fabric scrap. Can you relate to that?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone else out there can relate to that too. And that's okay, because us fabricaholics can enjoy these fabric scraps with a project like this. All I needed to do was cut them in 2.5-inch widths and cut them in any length that you want. I repeat, any length that you want. There is no right or wrong reason or way, no
right or wrong
way to do it. Yeah, you get that. So I have all kinds of red and green and even some pinks in there, just for a fun and whimsical look. And again, they're all 2.5 inches wide, but they are different lengths. And that's because I want it to be a real scrappy look. So I'm going to start by sewing the short ends together. So Chris, if you'll
go ahead and start that. Okay.
Don't worry about the length of your fabric panel right now.
Short and short.
We just want them sewn together, right sides together, short ends. We're going to make some longer strips. So go ahead and sew that, and you're going to do that in a 1/4-inch seam. Okay, pretty simple, right? Take that over to your ironing board, press your seam. Okay, and now I would take this and I'd say, all right, let's take a look at how that looks on that side of the panel. I like it. Or if you want another fabric mixed in there, go ahead and take some scissors here. And I'm going to look at it and say, you know, I could really use another, well, I'm going to cut off more of that red and I'm going to add another green to it instead. So again, I'm not measuring anything.
This is a small enough project that you can get away with doing borders like this.
Exactly, exactly. Now, if you're going to go for a quilt type of project or a table runner, then you're going to want to be more exact with your borders in measuring them just right to fit onto your panel. But for a small project like a pillow, this is just fine.
Yep.
All right, so Chris, go ahead and we're going to do right sides together.
All righty.
And sew that up. Okay. Again, go ahead and do a quick pressing of the seam. All right. Now I like the way I have it. So I'm going to take it to my panel. I'm going to put right sides together here. And I'm going to simply sew it along there along those raw edges. Don't worry if it's too long because we're going to cut it off. Okay, and as you can see, it is a little bit too long. That's all right. First, you want to press it. Okay. And I press it towards the outside. Okay, and then I'm going to simply trim that off, that extra piece. Again, since this is a small project, that's okay. For your larger projects, you're actually going to want to take full measurements of each side, and that's all there is to it.
Love it.
Now the fun part about this is you can actually now add extra embellishments like our favorite rickrack.
Yeah,
So if
can't go
you
wrong
want
with
to
rickrack.
decorate your ornament with possibly rickrack right down the middle, 2 pieces side by side, there are a lot of possibilities. And then for that little hook on top, I used a tiny black rickrack trim to finish it off.
Very, very cute.
Thank you.
How fun.
Yeah. Now, if you want to make this into a pillow, that's when you would just measure the finished size of your front panel, cut a backing piece the same size, and then sew it together.
Oh, that is so fun. That's all there is to it. To close, we want to let you know that if you're interested in fun fabric, as you've seen here today, be sure to visit your local fabric store or quilt shop, or you can find these things online at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. We also want to thank our sponsor, YouCanMakeThis.com, for making this episode possible.
Of course, we also look forward to seeing what you are going to make with this idea. Share your photos with us on Facebook or Flickr. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you felt creativity was served. Bye-bye.
Bye.